I don't know how long we can do this.
You keep saying
I don't know.
Like a relationship.
I'm tired. Joe, this is the last time, Joe. All right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not doing this anymore, Joe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now you either get straight or we're done. All right? But I'm going to be back.
Yeah.
He's giving you that look right now.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on it.
Okay, as long as you work on it, though. I mean it, Joe. I'm out. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. You're at dtmerch.com. There's so many other things that you can do over there and see, such as our new videos that are up on TikTok and up on YouTube. But what I really want you to do is I want you to go and first of all, you can start by looking at that banner in the middle of DT Merch, clicking that. So you can go over to x1entertainment.com/double-toasted so you can get tickets for Double Toasted live in New York City, Brooklyn to be more exact. That's April 1st. And that's going to be a show starting at 8 p.m. at the Roulette Intermedium for a night of comedy, games, and much, much more. You're going to have a great time while you're there. So we have finally, and it was actually, I say finally, but it was a very short period of time between You Season 4 Part 1 and You Season 4 Part 2.
Oh, and it's already out?
Yeah, it's already out. It came out on Friday.
Oh, dang.
And, you know, this is the continuing adventures of Joe the serial killer, who everywhere he goes, he brings chaos with him just because he just can't stop obsessing over people, mainly women. And when that happens, usually people get in the way of that, and then bodies start piling up and people's lives start being ruined. And, you know, I wasn't too kind to Part 1. You know, I was saying that it's not true to what they started right here. And I don't think that it ended on they ended on a cliffhanger, but I don't think that it ended on a strong cliffhanger either. I just kind of feel like the show's run through the motions. And now you got Part 2 out. I'm sorry, Netflix, all right? I'm sorry. I am a man who can admit when he's wrong. I'm not above giving an apology to you, all right? The thing is, in my last video with this, I talked about how, man, y'all went soft. Joe is not the same character. Y'all tried to make him lovable. Y'all tried to make him Loki. You know, you're trying to make him a likable guy if he's killed all kind of people. You missed the point. Not only was I, and I can admit it, not only was I wrong, but Netflix, they designed Part 1 to dupe dumbasses like me.
You gotta learn to be patient, man.
They got me.
Yeah, delivering these hot takes halfway through, you know better than this.
I know, and they laid it all out there for some people too, because I read some theories and I'm like, yeah, I don't know shit. Yeah, you reading too much into it. And they laid it all out there, and I, Korey Coleman, Critic of the Year, I fell for everything that they put out there.
What do you want?
Isn't it obvious? I want a friend.
You'll always be a part.
Oh, is that who we think it is? If I've seen the show, I know who that is. How she get back in? Yeah, folks, it is crazy. It's you know, it's some of these things are a stretch. And if you've been watching the show, you know some of the things that are happening. I'm gonna tell you without ruining too much for people who have not seen it. But last season, Joe has escaped. Now, if you know this character, Joe's a serial killer. He falls in love with women. He ends up either killing them or killing people around them and just overall destroying lives with his obsession. The whole time telling himself that I'm a good person, you know, it was for love, or that wasn't the real Joe that did that. You know, he always finds a way to go in and
to
just
shift the blame.
Yeah, and deny all of his evil doings, man.
Narcissist.
Yeah, very much. They even mentioned that in the show. But he's been escaping from city to city to city in America. Now he's going over to London. Shit up to. And while he's over there, he gets mixed up with a bunch of people who are not the greatest people in the world. You don't want to talk about narcissists. It's just a bunch of rich, privileged, asshole 1%ers, man, who have not made a dime of their own in their lives. They've been born into it. They were, their parents got them everything they want, all spoiled, and really, if you really could, you got to ask yourself. And again, another situation where Joel makes you question your own morality because of what Joel does, and because you see it from his point of view, you want him to succeed, you want him to get away because you relate too much, because you see everything through him. Here, you often say, man, well, look, he can kill just one. That's not going to hurt. And when anybody miss this person, would the world be a better place? Yeah, as long as I don't have to get my hands dirty. So, you often look at these people and you want them to die because they're just so mean, man. But there's a big twist here in that one of those people who was not born privileged is a wannabe politician. A guy, what is this guy's name, man? Reese Montrose, played by Ed Spielers. And this guy has latched on to Joe because he has very high political ambition, starting with being the mayor of London. And he's like, to do all the dirty work, Joe can actually help me. So he goes in and kind of manipulates Joe. Joe thought he had a friend at first. But this guy has so big political ambitions that once he learns about Joe and has done all his research, he's like, yeah, I can, I don't kill people. That guy does it. It's not going to be so bad if I get him to do it, my dirty work for me. But that's one of the things with this show, man. So I'm going to say that, you're looking at some of these things that happen in this show. Netflix, you're not completely off the hook, all right? I might apologize. I can admit where I'm wrong. But a lot of these things in this show, it's getting more ridiculous, We're going off 4 seasons of a show where a man keeps getting away with murder and he's got a pile of bodies, that's about 2 stories long. So it's like, this is getting silly. It's not the best writing at this point. They do a lot of things that are very derivative of other movies and shows. They do one particular thing that's just pretty much hack at this point right here. But on a fun soap opera level, you could still take it there, man. A lot of it works because the cast is so great. You got Penn Badgley, who is still great and still very good as Joe. They're bringing in new people now. I won't say who he is in case you ever want to watch the show, but it was funny because before this season came up, I'm not even lying, this is a crazy coincidence. I said, man, what is old Greg Kinnear up to? Greg Kinnear pops up in the show.
Oh, okay.
And he's very good in the show, man. He actually brings things up a level too. That guy I just told you about, Ed Spielers, he's given a great performance in here, man. It's if these people weren't as good as their job in bringing these characters in as the way they do, this might be a little sillier. In fact, it would be. Even the rich assholes in this season are a whole lot more developed. Really? Some of them even have growth. It's like, wow.
Okay. Depth.
Yeah, some depth to them.
Was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either. Hence why I feel like a stupid ass watching this, because I was like, man, I did not give this a chance at all. Man, boy, you jumped the gun. But at the same time, that is a great compliment to Netflix, because Netflix did a good job at, except for the people that figured it out. I am not one of those people, but they did a great job at covering all that up, at making that show seem that first half seem so shallow and so basic, man. But mostly what really is making this great is Joe ain't learned shit. I was talking about in the last season. I was like, they got me. That's what I'm really mad about, because I looked at it.
That's what Joe does.
He got me.
Every season he does that.
I know, and I'm tired of it, man. I'm one of his hoes. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of being manipulated by Joe. And it always happens,
Every time
man.
you look down on a woman who takes back her abusive boyfriend, I want you to remember this.
I will now. Damn, Joe got me, man. I looked at that and I'm like, oh, he reformed. I don't really approve what he's done, but he's trying to do better.
We say that every time. He's trying.
Man, he's a bad person, but he's making an effort.
Last season, he figured himself out and was like, wow, I keep doing this. I'm stopping. I'm done. And goes right back to it.
He does that this season. Last season, they really did make him look like he was the most likable person out of all these people. Those assholes were right.
Yeah.
Everything they said, like, God damn, they were right.
Mm-hmm.
They had him. And they were just too coked up to really buy into it. Like, they had him.
Mm-hmm.
They pegged him. And this is the craziest Joe has ever been.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Joe's
That's
off.
saying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe is he's saying this is the worst Joe has ever been.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
Oh, I got to watch
This
it
is
now.
the worst he's ever been. This is the most monstrous he's ever been. It's like by the end of it, I mean, and the thing is, I'm gonna go back to. I know I'm gonna go back, but man, this is the worst he's ever been. And what even makes it more painful is that he really cannot come to grips that he has. It's more than killing people. He's just destroyed people's lives.
Yeah.
And he keeps going back and convincing himself, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I can fix this. This is not really me. Yeah, man. And see, that's what makes this so good though, is that you have to look at it. The silly things that happen in this show, you can accept more. And I've said this all the time with this, ever since season 1. You have to look at this as, this is not a thriller. It leans more on the horror side in that Joe is a slasher. You know, he's a slasher with a conscience.
Yeah.
A warped conscience, but a conscience.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of it that way, you can actually, it makes the show's more ridiculous aspects more acceptable. You know, all the crazy twists, the coincidences, the narrow escapes. This is a slasher flick. It's the most interesting slasher that we have out there, if you ask me. Because you get Jason and Michael Myers, and they keep finding ways to escape and kill again, just like Joe, but they're mindless killers. Joe's right up there with them, man. Joe's just handsome and don't wear a mask, and he talks some good game. And he's human. We can relate to him. He's the difference between the main difference between Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers is that while these guys, we just look at them as fun killing machines and popcorn flicks, Joe is the slasher that challenges our morality. Seeing things through Joe. It's funny because Joe, it's not just through seeing things through his point of view and all the narrow escapes that make you want to be on his side because we feel like we're in a situation with him. It's the romance that he's in too, man. Because a lot of this stuff is played out just like a romance movie. Before you get to the killing, Joe's always falling for some broad, who's always falling for him, and they always go through the romantic throes that we see either in a romance film or even a romantic comedy. In this case, it's this chick here, Kate Galvin, who's played by Charlotte Ritchie. She's the heiress of a billionaire who really hates her father and is trying to distance herself from that. So she puts up this really hard front, these really hard defenses, and just acts bitchy to everybody. But of course, you can't resist those old charms of Joe right there. Joe broke her down. And when Joe breaks her down, you're like, that's what got me in the first part. It's like, man, Joe broke that girl down, and that was so romantic. It was so cute. And you always realize, no, it's for the worst.
Yeah.
Always for the worst. I don't know how long we can do this.
You keep saying
I don't know.
Like a relationship.
I'm tired. Joe, this is the last time, Joe. All right? I'm not doing this anymore, Joe, okay? Now you either get straight or we're done. All right? But I'm going to be back.
Yeah.
He's giving you that look right now.
I'm working on it.
Okay, as long as you work on it, though. I mean this shit, Joe. I'm out. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah, whatever. I really think he's gonna do good.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's gonna make up for it.
Yeah.
All those past mistakes.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I was hoping you'd come back with a report like this because I want to start it. But after everything you said about the first half, I was like, well, maybe it's time to just let it go.
The only thing I regret is coming in and telling you. I wish you had watched it when I was talking shit. I wish you had watched it. I wish you had said, man, he don't know what he's talking about. And you would watch it and was able to not hear what he even have to say now and catch it on your own for the second half. Because they set it up so well. And another reason why I say that I don't know how long this can go on, because I mean, everything is getting silly with all the plot twists and the narrow escapes and whatnot. I mean, if you can accept that, then that's fine. And like I said, on a soap opera level, I can. I don't know how long I can suspend my disbelief, but it's starting to get silly. But man, the way they have a lot of female writers and directors on this, so they're doing a very good job at writing for male characters too. And I'm pretty surprised with that. And even though these are silly narrow escapes, these are silly twists, they're written in a fun way.
The humor has always worked really well.
Yeah.
And it helps to be in his mind, because he's spinning it like, man, he's just a guy trying to find love. And everybody can relate with that. And when you see two people kind of getting together, you root for it to happen. And okay, he gets a little desperate, but that's okay. It's all for love until he kills somebody. And I keep thinking back to his first murder in the first season, at least when he was going after Beck and killed her friend when she was jogging. And it almost felt like, oh, he didn't really mean to do that. It just kind of got out of hand. It's not until, 2 or 3 more, you're like, hold on a second.
No, they always tried to put it, not always, there were times when he killed somebody who just did not have it coming, and that's where he's shown to be the monster that he is. And there are situations like this where, like, man, that person did not deserve that at all.
You have to stop and go, none of these people have deserved to die. But granted, some of them will be assholes, and you're like, man, you put him in a position, but it's still like, yeah, but what he did, that is not justified.
Yeah. And what they show in this particular season, there are worse people than Joel because they get away with it in other ways. They get away with it because they got money.
Right.
They get away with it because they have power and influence. And so you see and it's not to justify what Joel does at all, but it's just showing how the world looks at Joel as a monster, but then they prove, people in power, how we keep them there and they just get away with it. Joel, Joel take care of it.
Put Joe on the case.
Yeah. Joel's like just a rabid dog. You just want to let off the leash sometimes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I could not wait to get home last night and finish watching it. Get back to my man Joe. It's still very good. And it's still one of my favorites out there. And I will admit, it is silly. It is silly. It's my days of our lives, or my General Hospital.
Your story.
My stories. Oh, yeah. I won't even call it you. I say I got to go watch Joe.
The Joe Show.
So yeah, y'all. It's if I had to give it anything, I'd give it a high matinee. Very high matinee. I can't go full price because, as I said, it's getting ridiculous now. But it's still a lot of fun, man. And like I said, I still really, really enjoy it. I look forward to season 5 without saying anything that's going to be spoilery.
So they are doing a season 5.
Listen. This is the #1 movie right now. Our #1 show.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, wow, surprised.
Oh, is this what beat The Last of Us?
Well, #1 show on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
Right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, there's #1 show on Netflix. They left it open, so yeah, you're gonna get a season 5. Okay, I'm pretty sure.
I was just curious because Penn Badgley's his name's been circulated for Mr. Fantastic. So.
I know. It's like, if he gets cast as Mr. Fantastic, are they gonna still let him be the serial killer?
I know, right? Well, some versions of Reed are just as bad as Joe, so I can see that.
Yeah, no, it's man, that's the only thing. Because I kept looking at him with that beard, and I said, man, he'd be a great Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, he has to look for it.
Yeah,
and the acting, obviously.
Yeah, Penn Badgley, he's amazing in this role. I really did. I can't stop watching the show mainly because of him, and he does such a good job at of seducing you and luring you in and making you think that this is the time he's gonna get right.